Shalom, shalom, Yashra'al. Welcome again to another edition of Watchmen of the Faith Ministries. My name is Kasada Ba. Now, first, before we get started now, I would like to give all praises, respect, and honor to the Father Yahuwah for sending his son, Yahushua HaMashiach, alright, who died and made restitutions for the nation of Yashra'al, bringing us, the nation of Yashra'al, back into covenant relationship with the Father Yahuwah. Alright? So that was the purpose of Yahushua dying and spilling his blood, which brings us back again into covenant relationship with the Father. Now, being that we are living in the absolute last days, alright, there's a lot of wickedness that's very prevalent. I mean, it's just real heavy out here in today's society. So what I would like to do is just go to the book of Ephesians, the 6th chapter, and I just want to give the brothers and sisters in Israel some encouragement, all right? Because I know a lot of times it might seem like we're alone, but we're not alone, all right? Yahuwah sent his son Yahushua HaMashiach, and he is always with us, and as long as we follow this Torah walk, everything will be okay, all right? So again, some words of encouragement from the book of Ephesians, the 6th chapter, and I'm going to read from the 10th verse, all right? And again, this is to the brothers and the sisters and the ger, all right, G-E-R, the ger, the sojourners, all right, who made it their responsibility, and also of understanding now that everybody, all right, has to follow the Torah, all right, the instructions. Finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahuwah and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahuwah, that you may be able to stand against the vows of Hashatan. All right? I'm reading from the 1611 King James Version Bible here. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Brothers and sisters, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Yahuwah. So let's find out what this armor is. That you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the Besorah of the gospel of peace. Above all, take the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahuwah. Praying always, all right? Praying always, that's going to be key. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the URAH. And watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. All right, so I just wanted to give again the brothers and sisters some words of encouragement, all right, from our scriptures here, all right. Again, just to let you know everything's going to be okay, all right. We're living in the last days, and as long as we stay diligent, because like the scriptures tells us, he that endureth unto the end shall be saved, and that is our responsibility to continue in this walk. This is the right walk, all right. So again, but we also have to acknowledge the mediator, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, all right. So with that, the topic today is Shaul, all right, aka Paul, has been summoned to court, all right. Again, the title of today's show is called Shaul has been summoned to court. Now, the reason why, all right, the Spirit came upon me to do this show is because there's a lot of talk on whether or not Shaul talked against the Torah or was he for the Torah. So we're going to be tackling that today. Now, this might go into a two-part series, all right? and I'm going to try to get as much done as I can today, but this is a very sensitive topic, and I just want to make sure that I take my time and present this this cause correctly, because again, Shaul today on the Shabbat, all right, has been summoned to court. Now, I have some notes here, and what I'm doing here now is that, being that Shaul has been summoned to court, what I'm asking for you to do now is to acknowledge this whole situation here as a courtroom setting, all right? Again, this is going to be a courtroom setting. Now, with that being said, all rise, okay? The most honorable Judge Yahuwah has sanctioned his right hand, all right? The right hand is this right here. Now, when we go into the Hebrew alphabet, this would be the right hand, okay? That's the right hand, and that right hand is also represented by what we know as the Yod, all right? The smallest letter in the Hebrew alphabet, all right? So again, when we start to get into pictographs, all of this is doing here, all right? It is another way, all right, in explaining that this is referring to Yahusha, all right? Yahusha HaMashiach. This is what this is referring to. Mashiach. Y-A-C-H, all right? Now, let's go and prove, all right, this right hand, Yahusha HaMashiach. Let's prove all things, because we want to make sure, all right, in today's court session that Rav Apostle Shaul gets a fair shot, all right? That's what we want to do. And we also, again, like I said, we want to explain the importance of the Yod or the right hand. And what I'm going to do, I want to prove all things through the scripture, all right? And let's go to the Ketuvim, all right? Let's go to the writings. Let's go to Tehillim, okay, 110. Tehillim 110, verse 1. We're going to explain this Yod here. All right, so what we have in verse 1, it says, the Yahuwah said unto my Yahuwah, sit thou at my right hand. Again, the right hand, which is, in a pictograph, a picture of an arm. All right, which is in the Hebrew alphabet, which is the Yod. All right, it would be the Yod, the smallest letter in the Hebrew alphabet. All right, and in the ancient Hebrew, it would look like this. All right, it would look like that. That would be your Yod. So again, I'm gonna read it again one more time. And Yahuwah said unto my Yahuwah. So Dawood is saying, Yahuwah said unto my Yahuwah, sit thou at my right hand. So this Yahuwah, okay, is sitting on the right hand side of Yahuwah Elohim. So we have Yahuwah. Let me make sure this is done correctly now. We have Yahuwah. And who's sitting on the right hand of Yahuwah is Yahuwah Elohim, which is represented by the smallest Hebrew letter in the alphabet is the Yod. The Yod is the right hand. And both of these two characters here represent the Yah, or the Yod. Until I make thy enemies thy footstool. All right? All of this is a prophetic shadow picture of Yahusha HaMashiach. All right? Going to make sure nothing goes wrong here. And the reason why I wanted to do that is to further illustrate on what I'm trying to paint here. All right? Again, Yahuwah was sanctioned, okay, which is his right hand, Judge Yahuwah, to reside over the argument. Did Rav, or Apostle Shaul, teach another doctrine? All right? Let's go to the book of Revelation. All right? The book of Revelation, the 5th chapter, 1 through 5. And let's see whether or not, all right, Yahushua HaMashiach has this ability, all right, this authority to sit on the right hand to judge this situation, whether or not Rav Shaul is actually telling the truth or is he lying against the Torah. Again, Revelation, the 5th chapter, I'm going to read verses 1 through 5. And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne, again, and I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof. We're talking about the 7 seals here. We're not going to get into that today, all right? And no man in Shamayim, nor in the Arats or the earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I, which is talking about John, who was on the island of Patmos at the time. He was island of Patmos. We leave it there. And I wept much because no man was able to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. Verse 5. And one of the elders said unto me, weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Yehudah, the root of Dawood, have prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. This is all referring to Yahushua HaMashiach. So again, the most honorable judge, Yahuwah, has sanctioned his right hand, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, all right, to reside over this argument. Did Shaul, all right, Rav Shaul, teach another doctrine? Now, again, this is a court case here, all right? We want to bring out all of the evidence to find out whether or not Rav Shaul taught another doctrine. Now, this is a court case here. The docket number for this case is 144, all right? 144, as in the 144,000 that will be assisting Yahushua HaMashiach in the judging of the 12 tribes of Yashra'al, all right? Let's prove that. Let's go to the book of Matthew, the 19th chapter, verse 28. All right, we're going to prove all things here. This commission was given to Yahushua HaMashiach, 1928. Here we are. And Yahushua HaMashiach said unto them, let me read from verse 27. Then answered Kepha and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? This is very, very important. This is the reason why I said earlier, okay, we must make sure that we continue this race. He that endureth unto the end. At the end of this race, there is something to be given for your endurance in running this race here. Verse 28. And Yahushua HaMashiach said unto them, verily I say unto you, that you which have followed me, okay, in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, you shall also sit upon 12 thrones, judging, all right, Shaphat, judging the 12 tribes of Yashra'al, all right? Now, the reason why I brought that out is because those attending, all right, the court will only be mores, all right? Those of us that are well seasoned in overstanding the scripture and looking over this case with a fine-tooth comb. So again, now those attending the court case will only be mores that are learned in Torah. We must overstand the instructions. Like I always say in the shows that I do now, is that during the time of the Messiah's ministry, there was no such thing as the Shem Tov's Matthew, the Matthew that we have in the King James Version. There was no Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. There was no book of Revelation. There was no 1 Timothy's and all of that stuff like that. We want to see now when Shaul begins to speak, is he speaking according to the Torah? Is he making references now when he's trying to educate or elaborate on the things that he's saying? Is he making his sources from the Torah, or is he making up his own doctrine? That's what we want to do. So again, I'm going to need brothers and sisters, all right, that are well versed in the Torah to see whether this thing is true. Is Shaul telling a lie? So let's go to the book of Ibri, or Abri, the 5th chapter, the 12th verse, all right, which is the book of Hebrews. All right, the 5th chapter, verse 1, okay? Verse 1, let's see, double check this. Excuse me, verse 12. Verse 12 I'm going to go to. For when the time you ought to be teachers, all right? You need that one teach you again, which I'm saying is the Ruach HaKodesh, okay? And this is poured out upon us by Yahuwah, okay? Through his son, Yahushua HaMashiach. From the time you ought to be teachers, you have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of Yahuwah, and are become such as need of milk and not of strong meat. For everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But strong meat now belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. So that's what we need. In order for us, okay, to go out and teach this gospel, we have to be well seasoned in this walk, all right? Because what's happening now is that we are the examples to the world, all right? That's very important. If we're going to call ourselves, all right, the Talmudim of Yahushua HaMashiach, we have to be very careful how we walk, all right? So again, with this court case here, because Shaul has been summoned to court, we're going to go through the scriptures real thoroughly and find out whether Shaul was teaching another doctrine. So again, mores, all right, and I'm including sisters too now. Do your homework, do your research as I present this case here. Now, to further elaborate now on Ibri, or the book of Hebrews, the 5th chapter, verses 12 to 14, I want to go to Tehillim 107, all right, 107, verse 11. And again, Tehillim would be the book of Psalms. The book of Psalms. Again, that's 107. 107, and I'm going to read verse 11. All right, verse 11. Verse 11. Let's see here. Make sure I have this right here. Because they rebelled against the words of Yahuwah and contented the counsel of the Most High. Actually, that's not the one there. Excuse me 1 second here. 1 second. Excuse me. I have to come back to that one. Let's go to the book of John 3:34. All right, 3:34. 3:34. We'll go back into Psalms 107. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do this in order here. John 3:34. 3:34. For he whom the Father hath sent, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, speaking the words of Yahuwah, for Yahuwah giveth not the Spirit by measure unto him. All right? So again, I'm just trying to explain here now the importance of the Ruach HaKodesh and using and understanding that Yahushua HaMashiach is actually the foundation. If we can't understand that Yahushua HaMashiach is the foundation, everything else falls apart. Everything has to be based upon that chief cornerstone, all right? that word aban. All right, the word aban, which means the stone. Okay, all of this is based on Yahushua HaMashiach, all right, that chief cornerstone. So it's very important that we understand that there. Let's go to some more scriptures to back that up. Let's go to the book of Acts. The book of Acts, the 7th chapter. Book of Acts, the 7th chapter. And let's read 37 to 38. All right, that's Acts, the 7th chapter, verses 37 to 38. This is that Moshe, okay, which said unto the children of Yashra'al, a prophet shall Yahuwah, your Elohim, raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me shall you hear. This is he that was in the church. Now, this church here now is not talking about the Christian church, all right? This church here, the best way that I can say is the word kahal, all right, which means this called out assembly, or the word mikra, all right? The word mikra means to rehearse, or the word korah, which means to call. So again, all of these words are associated. Again, the word kahal, which means a called out assembly. The word korah, which means to call. The word mikra, which means to rehearse. All right. So all of these words are synonymous pertaining to who these people were. It's not referring to the Christian church. All right. So I just want to make sure that that's understood. This is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spoke to him in Mount Sinai. So again, what I'm trying to establish here now in the book of Abri, okay, the 5th chapter, the 12th verse, when it talks about that we need to be learned again, all right? So we need to become babes again so that we would be able to understand now the media or the weightier parts of the law. And the only way that you can do that is by acknowledging the stone, the Hebrew word aban, all right? And so, which is then, in this word here is so important because it's associated with the word bond. Bond, all right, which gives you your noon sophie, all right. So you have your b, your ba, and your noon bond. But this is also, all right. Take for example in Aramaic, this would be bar. Bar is son also in Aramaic, and you might even see sometimes ben. All right. So the only reason why I wrote all of this is just to greater exemplify the whole thing about the Messiah. All right. Anywhere you turn it, you can't miss, because all of this is alluding to Yahushua HaMashiach. Ben, the stone is the Messiah. The Messiah is that chief cornerstone. The word bond, all right. We have the bet, and we have the nun sophie. Bar, Aramaic, which means son, and we might even see son as ben. All right. I just wanted to do that right quick. What I like to do, I don't like to leave any stones, all right, not turned. All right. You got to look at this thing in real in-depth detail. Okay, another scripture that I want to go to is the book of Romans. The book of Romans, the 3rd chapter, and I want to read verses 1 to 2. And again, I'm just trying to show the importance here of Yahushua HaMashiach, who the Father sent, because we want to make sure or see whether or not Shaul is lying here. Romans, the 3rd chapter, verses 1 to 2. Okay. What advantage then haveth the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of Yahuwah. Okay, so it is our responsibility, okay, as Yahudims, all right, not even take it a step further, all right, as Israelites, the whole body, both northern and southern kingdom, right, it is our responsibility as brides to Yahuwah to be this example to the rest of the world because all of the other nations now are supposed to follow Torah. The real reason why the world is in the situation that it's into today is because the true Hebrew Israelites, the bride of Yahuwah, Yahushua HaMashiach, all right, did not follow the ketubah that is outlined in the book of Shemot, the 20th chapter. All right. And because of that, the bride was kicked out of the house. All right. So now today, what's happening now is that the true sons and daughters of Yahuwah must stand up and teach Torah and the importance of Yahushua HaMashiach, who the Father sent. All right. Now, First Peter, all right. I don't mean to put this thing on overkill, but it is what it is. All right. It is what it is. First Peter, the 4th chapter, verse 11. Verse 11. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Yahuwah. Now, when we say the oracles of Yahuwah, simply, if I wanted to get this into the simplest form, I'm saying that those oracles are the instructions, and the instructions is Torah. All right? Torah. All right? Torah. However you want to spell it, okay? It's Torah. All right? So I just wanted to make sure that that's clear. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Yahuwah. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which the Father giveth, that the Father in all things may be glorified through Yahushua HaMashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and forever. Now, this consists of a body. All right. So now everybody has their responsibility in this body. No one person has it all. This is the reason why I'm constantly reaching out to other mores. All right. Because another brother might be able to expound on something a little bit better than I can, and vice versa. All right. I don't even want it all. All right. Because it is a clear, proven fact based on my experience in this Torah walk. When a man believes that he has it all, his pride gets lifted up, and then the whole thing goes to shambles. All right. So again, things are given in increments. This thing makes up of a body, and everybody has a gift. All right. Again, just showing the importance of, again, Yahushua HaMashiach, and those of us that are ministers. All right. Those of us that are ministers must make sure that the foundation is Yahushua HaMashiach, all right? That's that chief cornerstone that the Pharisees rejected, all right? So let's get that clear. Now, I think there's a little bit more to that. Let's see here. Let's read 11 again. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Yahuwah. If any man minister, let him do it as the ability which the Father giveth. That power, or Yahuwah Elohim, or Yahuwah, is all things may be glorified through the Messiah, to whom be the praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Let's go to, let's see here. Let's go to Revelation. The book of Revelation, 17. For Yahuwah hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will. I'm going to read it again. For the Father hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Yahuwah shall be fulfilled. All right. So again, this is very, very important. All right, that we understand the foundation, and the foundations is Yahushua HaMashiach, which is going to give us now that strong foundation, so that when any man comes and challenge this doctrine here, we have a stronghold that no man can break, And that can only be done by using the Messiah as that strong foundation. All right? So now, let's speed it up here a little bit. Shaul's charge. Now, again, did Shaul keep Torah? And did he teach others to do the same? Because Rav, which is apostle, Shaul is often presented as the founder of Christianity. But Christians like to propagate, okay, by him being a Christian, that he's now teaching anti-Torah. And this is what this whole thing is going to be about today, is Shaul teaching another doctrine. Now, here are some of the list of the charges, all right? Point in case number 1. Stephen was stoned to death through false allegations of witnesses, all right? Follow along with me. These are the list of charges, and this is point in case number 1. Stephen was stoned to death through false allegations of witnesses. Point in case number 2. One allegation of a particular witness stated that Stephen preached that Yahushua HaMashiach would change the Torah that was given to Yashra'al at Mount Sinai. All right? Point in case number 3. Paul Shaul consented to the death of Stephen by the testimony of a false witness. All right? We're building this case here. These are all facts. I'm going to read point in case number 3 again. Point in case number 3. Paul Shaul consented to the death of Stephen by the testimony of false witnesses. Point in case number 4. Shaul is also accused of not keeping Torah, and his accusers want to put him to death. Point in case number 5. Shaul testified that he kept Torah and was freed from his accusers through the Roman court system. I'm going to read point in case number 5 again. All right? Shaul testified that he kept Torah and was freed from his accusers through the Roman court system. Point in case number 6. Did Shaul preach the salvation, the hope of Yashra'al? Meaning, okay, this is what I'm meaning here when I say this. Meaning the reunification of northern and southern kingdom through the redemptive works of Yahushua HaMashiach. And finally, point in case number 7. We the mores, okay, we're the jurors, all right, need to decide whether a believer in Yahushua HaMashiach should follow the Torah, all right? I'm going to go into Acts the 15th chapter a little bit later on, all right? But again, the final case, case number 7, we the mores, which are the jurors again, need to decide whether a believer in Yahushua HaMashiach should follow the Torah, because again, the way that Christians have it is that Shaul changed the law, all right? We don't have to do those laws anymore because Yahushua HaMashiach nailed it to the cross, and I even heard one time that those are for the Jews, and we Christians, we don't have to do that, all right? So we'll see. Now, what I would like to do, as if Shaul was here, let's start with a brief statement from Shaul. All right? Let's go to the book of Galatians, the 1st chapter. All right? Galatians, the 1st chapter. Let me get that right quick, and we're going to do verse 13 to 14. Galatians. Here we are. The book of Galatians, the 1st chapter, We're going to do 13 to 14. Let's get some words here from Shaul. Shaul is saying, all right, to us, the jurors, for we have heard of my conversation in time past in the Jews' religion. Now, when he says in the Jews' religion, all right, we're talking about Judaism, all right? There's something called Judaism, and let me just break this down right quick, all right? We have three divisions, all right? We have Judaism, all right? We have what we call Netzer, or Netzarim, all right? And then we have, let's call them Christians, all right? We're going to call them Christians. And this even exists today, all right? Judaism believes in Torah with a kick, all right, with a little spin. What they're actually doing now is that, you know what? I'm going to do it this way. Judaism, for the most part, don't believe in the Torah. They follow what we call Takanot. Takanot, the Masadim, man-made traditions, all right? These are laws that change biblical law, all right? This is what Judaism does. They teach the traditions of the elders. Then you have the Netzers, all right? The Netzarim, all right? Samak. It talks about the branch. Those by the way. Which would be those that believe in Yahushua HaMashiach. So the Netzers now would be those that follow Torah, and we believe in the Messiah. All right? That's what we do. Now, the Christians believe in, they believe in the Messiah, but they don't believe in the Torah. All right? So these are the three branches that we have. And like you said, we heard of Shaul's conversation in times past. I just want to read it. For you've heard of my conversation in times past in the Jews' religion. All right? That's Judaism. The Tanakh, the Masadim, Takanot. This is what all of this is. All right? Shaul is claiming to be a Netzer, that he follows the Torah and he believes in the Messiah. And the Christians believe in the Messiah, but they don't believe in the Torah. All right? So, let me continue reading here. For you have heard of my conversation in time past in the Jews' religion, how that I, beyond measure, persecuted the body of Yahuwah. All right? And wasted it. And profited, let me see, I need to go down to that, yeah. And profited in the Jews' religion. Shaul is talking about this right here, Judaism. All right? How he profited it in the Jews' religion above many my equals in my own nation, being more exceedingly jealous of the traditions, all right, of my fathers. Now, again, this is what Judaism teach. They teach traditions. Okay, traditions. We're at verse 14. Being more exceedingly zealous of the traditions of my fathers. So the fathers that he's talking about Gemiel. Some of them are now, I think there's another guy by the name of Rav Shiva. There's a lot of these guys out here who teach traditions of men, all right? And they believe that these laws supersede Torah, All right, and I get into this a little bit deep a little bit later on. All right, so because it gets into Rabbi Eliezer and things like that with this whole thing with Judaism. But again, I get into that a little bit later. But again, Shaul is talking about his conversation or how he used to persecute the church of Yahuwah. Let's see here. Now, a more excellent understanding of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's faith comes from our foundational understanding of Yahushua HaMashiach. Let's go into this a little bit more when we begin to talk about the Mahasims, which are laws that change or negate biblical laws. All right? Let's go to the book of Acts, the 22nd chapter. The book of Acts, the 22nd chapter. The 22nd chapter, verse 3. Shaul is saying, I am verily a man which am a Jew, born in Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, yet brought up in this city at the feet of Gamaliel, and taught according to the perfect manner of the law of the fathers, and was zealous toward the fathers as you are all this day. So he's not talking about the Torah here. Again, we're talking about the Mahasim, okay, which are biblical, or which are laws that change biblical laws. All right. So again, and when we begin to understand how these rabbis chose, okay, these Talmudim, or these guys to study, these were guys who were very elite in their classes. And so what these rabbis would do now, they would go to these classes, take these guys out, and begin to tutor these guys under their wings. And these guys had to know this whole profile where they knew the Torah back and forth. I mean, reciting it back and forth. And Shaul was one of those guys where he was very, very educated, all right, in the Torah, but he was doing it with a twist, not acknowledging, all right, the stone, all right, the son, Yahushua HaMashiach, because everything that's going on in the Tanakh, all right, is a prophetic shadow picture of Yahushua HaMashiach, and Shaul did not have that understanding. That's the reason why he was persecuting the body, all right? Now, let's continue on with this here. Now, why was Stephen put to death? The Pharisees, all right? Perushim, okay? The separate ones. So the word Pharisees means the separate ones. It means to scatter by definition, all right? The word Pharisee means to scatter by definition. Let's prove that. All right, because Shaul now was studying to be a Pharisee. All right, let's prove some of these things here. Let's go to the book of Matthew, 23, verse 15. Let's see what Yahushua HaMashiach has to say regarding the scribes and the Pharisees. Verse 15. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees. He called them hypocrites. For you compass sea and land to make one a proselyte. All right? And when he is made, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. So what is they actually doing? The Pharisees were scattering the flock. So by definition, the word Pharisee means to scatter. They were sitting in Moses' seat, but they were not teaching Torah. So if anybody is not teaching Torah, they're scattering the flock. So the word Pharisee, all right, which means is the Hebrew word Perushim, all right, they were scattering the flock of Israel. And again, by definition, One more time. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses. Let me start at verse 14. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer. Therefore you shall receive the greater damnation. Because they're sitting in Moses' seat, they should know better. He's supposed to be doctors in the law and not using the Messiah, okay, as the foundation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, you make him two more fold the child of hell than you yourselves. All right. Now, the Pharisees are disputing with Stephen in Acts the 6th chapter, verses 8 through 15. Again, the Pharisees are disputing with Stephen in Acts the 6th chapter, verse 8 to 15. Let's go to that. All right. Let's prove all things, because these are the charges that we have against Shaul. Acts the 6th chapter, verse 8 through 15. Let me read that right quick. And Stephen, all right, full of faith and power and great wonders, did great wonders and miracles among the people. Then there was some certain of the synagogue, which is called the synagogue of the Libertines, and Cyrenes and Alexandrians, and them of Sicilia and of Asia, disputing with Stephen. And they were not able to resist the wisdom and the spirit by which he spoke. Verse 10 is very important. And they were not able, these are doctors in the law, Pharisees, and they were not able to resist the wisdom, okay, and the spirit by which he spoke. And the reason why they were not able to do this, because Stephen had a strong foundation in understanding Yahushua HaMashiach. That's the reason why. Okay? Now, verse 11. Then they suborned men, which said, we have heard him speak. Verse 10. And they were not able to resist the wisdom and the spirit by which he spoke. Then they, then they suborned men, which said, we have heard him speak blasphemy against Moses and against Yahuwah. And they stirred up the people and the elders and the scribes, and came upon him and caught him and brought him to the council, and set up false witnesses. False witnesses. Stephen never said these things. So they had to set up false witnesses now. This man ceases not to speak blasphemous words against this holy place and the Torah. We have heard him say, now this is the accusation now. The accusation is this. We have heard him say that this Yahushua HaMashiach of Nazareth shall destroy this place and shall change the customs which Moses delivered unto us. And all that sat in the council, looking steadfast on him, which is Stephen, saw his face as it was the face of a malachim, an angel. All right? So, when we're vibing, okay, in the ruach of Yahushua HaMashiach, this is what people see in us. I'm going to read it again. And all that sat in the council looked steadfast on him as his face, as it had been the face of an angel. So this this light that was upon Stephen should have been enough, all right, to say this court is now adjourned. But because of their wickedness, and these Pharisees wanted to keep their position, all right, they're going to stone and put Stephen to death anyway. And we see this same or, okay, this Hebrew word or, this light, even upon Moshe when he came down off the mount and he had to put a veil upon his face. We see the same thing happening with Yahushua HaMashiach when he transfigured, okay, before his Talmudim. All right, so everything is lining up properly, all right? All of this is alluding to Yahushua HaMashiach as our foundation. And, again, this court case is about, again, Shaul has been summoned to court, and did Shaul teach against Torah? Now, let's go to the next one. Let's go, I want to compare that with the book of Shemot. Okay, let's go to the book of Shemot, the book of Exodus. The book of Exodus. Book of Exodus, the 34th chapter. The 34th chapter, 34. Okay, Exodus 34, 28 and 30. I want you to read. Okay, okay, I'll go ahead and read this anyway. I already talked about it. I jumped a little ahead of myself. And he was there with Yahuwah, Elohim, 40 days and 40 nights. And we talking about Moses here. No, let me go up a little bit. Let me read verse 27. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, write thou these words, for after the tenor of these words I have made a covenant with thee and with Yashra'al. Verse 27 is very important, but I get into that a little bit later. And he was there with Yahuwah Elohim 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water. And he wrote upon the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 commandments, which is the ketubah, your wedding vows. And it came to pass when Moshe came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets of the testimony in Moshe's hand, when he came down from the mount, that Moshe was not, that the skin of his face shone while he talketh with him. Very important. Read 29 again. And it came to pass when Moshe came down from Mount Sinai, that Moshe was not, that the skin of his face shone while he talked with him, which was again Yahushua HaMashiach. All right. So and it talks about in verse 33 that they had to put a veil on his face. Okay, because I just want to speed this up a little bit. I'm going to read verse 33. And so Moses had done speaking with them, he put a veil on his face, all right, because of the light that shone on his face. In verse 30, and when Moses and all the children of Israel saw Moshe, behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come near him, all right. So this is what happens now when you're in the presence, all right, of the Almighty Yah, all right. You begin to illuminate. All right, you illuminate when you're in his presence. And this is how you're able to tell whether or not a moray is actually a moray. Like the scripture says now, you know the tree, okay, or you know the fruit, okay, by the tree. So the tree produces fruit, okay. So if the tree produces good fruit, we know that, all right, that this is a goodly tree. We don't want to cut it down. But if this tree is bringing forth thorns and thistles, like what the Pharisees was doing, they need to be cut off, because what you're doing now is that you're scattering the flock of Israel. All right. Now let's go to the book of Romans, the 3rd chapter. Okay, because I already see now this is going to be another lesson, and I just want to make sure that I'm real thorough with this. All right. The reason why I'm going through it the way that I am. Romans, the 3rd chapter. The 3rd chapter, 29 to 31. Is he the power of the Yahudims only? Okay. Is he not also of the Gentiles? Yea, of the Gentiles also. Verse 30. Seeing it is one power, which shall justify the circumcision by faith and the uncircumcision through faith. Do we then make void? This is Shaul talking here now. Do we then make void the law through faith? The Most High forbid. Yeah, we establish the law. Now, verse 29 is very interesting, okay, because we talked about now, rarely do you hear brothers talk about the reunification of both northern and southern kingdom. All right, but I get into that a little bit later because the question is going to have to be, was Northern Kingdom ever called Gentiles? All right, and we go to the book of Hosea a little bit later on. But again, Stephen was put to death. All right, and these Jews here, all right, were these Jews. A quick version of it is that these Pharisees, those that were running the synagogue, all right, had a problem with Northern Kingdom, all right, and that hatred, okay, even exists to this day. Because when we go into the history, remember, it's the split between Northern and Southern Kingdom with Rehoboam and Jeroboam, and the situation got so heated that even Rehoboam wanted to muster up an army, okay, and go to battle with Jeroboam to bring Northern Kingdom back into one fold again. But the father gave the instructions, all right, that you should not go to war with your brethren. Let it be so for now. So when we start to get into the Samaritan woman and everything like that, you know, it gets a little tricky, okay, because there are many different layers of the scriptures. I'm not saying that the Gentiles can't make it, but what I'm saying is that we have to keep everything in its proper perspective first, all right? First things first, and then once we establish the first layer, then we can begin to go down into the other layers, all right? That's the only reason why I brought out, again, Romans, the 3rd chapter, verses 29 to 31, all right? But again, let's move on. What is sin? All right. Again, we're building a case here. What is sin? 1 John 3 and 4. There's going to be no need to elaborate or go through anything major with that. All right. It is what it is with that. 1 John 3 and 4. Where are we at here? Again, we're in court, and we're going to decide whether Shaul is a liar or whether he was following the Torah. So what is sin? Sin is 1 John 3 and 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresses also the law. For sin is a transgression of the law. Okay, so these are the accusations, all right, that are being thrown at Stephen. And we want to know now, was Shaul there? That's what we want to know, okay? Was he there? Now, moving right along. Shaul did consent to the death of Stephen. All right, I'm going to say it again. Shaul did, D-I-D, Shaul did consent to the death of Stephen. Let's prove that. All right, let's prove it. Let's go to the book of Acts. Let's go to the book of Acts. Book of Acts, the 7th chapter. Read verses 1 through 5. Then said the high priest, are these things so? Okay, because we just got finished reading Acts the 6th chapter, verse 14 to 15. Let me do this. Let me read down. Okay, because this is one continuous story here. So 6:14. For we have heard him say that this Messiah of Nazareth shall destroy this place, and should change the customs which Moses delivered unto us. And all that sat in the council looked steadfast on him, saw his face as it had been the face of an angel. Then said the high priest, are these things so? Now this high priest, this is high priest, or the Gadol Kohen in lowercase, okay, because the actual high priest is Yahushua HaMashiach. Are these things so? And he said, men and brethren, all right, I'm going to read down to verse 5. Men and brethren, and fathers, hearken. The set apart one of glory appeared to our father, okay, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, appeared to our father, Abraham, and he was in Mesopotamia before he dwelt in Haran, and said unto him, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred, and come into the land which I would show thee. Verse 4. Then came he out of the land of the Chaldeans and dwelt in Haran, and from thence, when his father was dead, he removed him unto this land where you now dwell. And he gave him none inheritance in it, no, not so much as to set his foot on it to him for a possession, and to his seed after him, when as yet he had no child. This is where the faith comes in at, all right? Again, we're building the case. So, now, remember this. This is going to be very important. What you sow is what you reap. Now, these are false witnesses now. Shaul consented to false witnesses who said Yahushua changed the customs of Moshe. Now, Shaul has to give an account of his ministry. So what I'm doing now is I'm making a comparison, all right? Stephen was brought to court, all right, on being accused of teaching that Yahushua HaMashiach changed the laws and all this other stuff. And so now, what you sow is what you reap. Shaul is also going through the same thing. And to prove that, let's go to Acts the 21st chapter. All right? I'm just making a comparison here. This is a case. Please follow along with me. Acts 21. Acts 21. 21. I'm going to read 17 to 20. Watch how this all plays out. Let's see here. Let's see. And when the day following, Paul went in, which was unto James, and all the elders were present. And when he had saluted them, he declared particularly what things Yahuwah had wrought amongst the Gentiles by his ministry. I'm going to read down to 20. Get down to 20. Excuse me, I skipped verse 17. And when we were come to Jerusalem, the brethren received us gladly. And the day following, Paul came in with us unto James, and all the elders were present. And when he had saluted them, had declared particularly what things Yahuwah Elohim had wrought among the Gentiles by his ministry. And when they heard it, they glorified the Father, and said unto him, Thou seest, brethren, how many thousands of Jews there are which believe, and they are all zealous of the law. Now, I want to stop there, okay? Because again, we're building a case here, all right? We're building a strong case to see what is actually going on here. And right now, what I'm doing is I'm comparing Stephen with Shaul, all right? Shaul is accused of not following Torah, though, all right? Now, let's see what happens here. 22 to 23. 21 to 23, excuse me. And they are all informed of thee, that thou teachest all the Jews, which are amongst the Gentiles, to forsake Moses. This is the accusation that's now going on against Shaul, all right? Again, what you reap is what you sow. And they all informed of thee, that thou teachest all the Jews which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moshe, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, nor to walk after the customs. All right. So this is what these accusers are saying. They're saying that Shaul is not a netzer. They're saying that Shaul, okay, is an agent. They're saying that Shaul is still into Judaism, all right, and that he's teaching the traditions of men, and that we should not circumcise our children. I read it again. They ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the customs. Now, again, as far as circumcision is concerned, all right, what has to happen, all right, that circumcision needs to happen within the heart, okay, taking off the old man and becoming the new man, all right, that's the spiritual application of it. But also, all right, there needs to be that that cutting of the flesh from the head of the penis, all right, so that has to still be done. So these are some of the accusations that are being brought up against Shaul. All right, I just want to say that. And we'll get into Acts the 15th chapter a little bit later on about this whole thing about the circumcision, but that's just a quick line on it there. Verse 22. What is it therefore? the multitude must needs come together, for they will hear that thou art come. Do therefore this that we say unto thee. We have 4 men which have a vow on them. All right? 4 men that have a vow on them. I'm going to stop there, okay, then, and read something else that's going to be very, very important as we outline this, okay, in this strategic way, because, again, what you sow is what you reap, and Shaul is going through something here, and let's understand more about this vow. Now, Shaul takes a vow, an oath that he walks in the ways of Torah. It should also be noted that the followers of Yahusha met daily in the temple and gave offerings unto Yahuwah. Okay? I just want to make sure that's understood. It should also be noted that the followers of Yahusha met daily in the temple and gave offerings unto Yahuwah. Now, I'm going to read Acts 21, verses 24 to 26. Then take and purify thyself with them, and be at charge with them, that you may shave their heads, and all may know that these things whereof that were informed concerning thee are nothing, but thou thyself also walk orderly, and keepest the law. Torah. Alright? The reason why Shaul is going through this is because of his conversation in time past, how he persecuted the Netzers. Alright? We would be considered Netzers, alright? Not Christians and not Judaism. Alright? If anybody was to ask me, okay, I'm a Netzer, alright? I follow the branch, alright? The Hebrew word samach, alright? That's where we're at today. Not Christians. Now, what I want to do is Roman soldiers saves where I'm at here now. Excuse me. What I want to do is go to Acts 21, 24 to 26. Take heed and purify thyself with them, and be at charge with them. Okay, I read that. Now, as toucheth the Gentiles which believe, we have written, okay, and concluded that they observe no such thing as circumcision now. They observe no such thing except only that they keep themselves free from things offered to idols, and from blood, and from strangled, and from fornication. So again, these are the beginning stages of the whole situation, all right? So again, these are newcomers. They're babes, all right? They're going to go into the synagogue, all right, on the Shabbat, and they will learn slowly, okay? We're not going to throw the whole pile on them. But circumcision is very, very important, and I get into that again, like I said, a little bit later, all right? 21, 26. And then Shaul took the men, the next day purified himself with them, entered into the temple to signify the accomplishment of the days of purification, until that an offering should be offered for every one of them. All right? So Shaul is arrested, okay, when we go to the 27th verse to the 31st verse. And when the 7 days were almost ended, the Jews which were of Asia, when they saw him in the temple, stirred up the people and laid hands on him, crying out, Men of Yashra'al, help! This is the man that teaches all men everywhere against the people and the law, and this place, and further brought Greeks into the temple, and have polluted the set apart place. All right? I want to read down to 31. For they have seen before with him in the city Trophimus, all right, an Ephesian, whom they supposed that Shaul had brought into the temple. And all the city was moved, and the people ran together, and they took Paul and drew him out of the temple, and forthwith the doors were shut. And as they went about to kill him, tidings came into the chief captain of the band that all Jerusalem was at an uproar. Okay, so they're trying to kill him now. Now, Roman soldiers saved Shaul's life. Let's go to, we're going to read down from 33 to 36. Then the chief captain came near and took him, which is Shaul, and commanded him to be bound with 2 chains, and demanded who he was and what he had done. And some cried one thing, some another among the multitude. And when he could not know the certainty of the tumult, he commanded him to be carried into the castle. Verse 35. And when he came upon the stairs, it was that he was borne on the shoulders for the violence of the people. For the multitude of the people followed after, crying, "Away with him!" All right. So again, they want to kill Paul. So Paul is saved by this Roman soldier. All right. I'm going to go through one more thing right here. And then from there, I'm going to pick it up next week. All right. With the continuation. All right. Shaul has been summoned to court. Yashra'al. All right. Shaul gives his defense. All right. Acts 21, 37 to 41. Now, as Shaul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain, "May I speak unto thee?" Who said this? "Can thou speakest Greek?" Which is the question. Now, this is where it gets real interesting at verse 38. "Are not thou that Egyptian, which before these days made an uproar, and led us out into the wilderness, 4,000 men that were murderers?" Okay, so Shaul has been compared to this Egyptian, and we all know the melanin type of Egyptians, all right? So we don't need to go no further with that. But Shaul said, "I am a man which am a Jew of Tarsus, a city of Cilicia, a city of no mean city, and I beseech thee, suffer me to speak unto the people." And when he had given him license, Paul stood on the stairs. And so Paul, you know, he bought his liberty, his freedom. He was of he had a very prestigious background, okay? And so Paul is saying that I'm a free man, okay? Then just like what a lot of people try to do today that's not working, there are people who leave America and they go over across seas, and they believe that they have prevalence over the people in those countries. So out of ignorance, they go there and they boast and they say, "Oh, you can't do that to me because I'm an American." Being that we understand the scripture, remember, it said that terror is going to make this man afraid on every side. I don't believe that anybody should be going overseas and boasting that they're Americans, all right? Because you might find yourself in a little situation. But again, what Shaul is doing now is saying that, listen, you know what? I'm a man of Tarsus, okay? Then listen, you know what? I'm a free man, all right? And so now this Roman soldier has to deal with Paul a little bit different now, okay? Where we at here? I'm going to read 39 again. 39. "But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew of Tarsus, a city of Cilicia, a city of no mean city, and I beseech thee, suffer me to speak unto the people." And when he had given him license, Shaul stood on the stairs and beckoned with the hand unto the people, and whom there made, and when there was made a great silence, he spoke unto them in the Hebrew tongue, saying, "Men and brethren." That's why I'm going to stop right there, okay? Because Shaul right now is about to give his defense, all right? Again, this is going to all fall in line because Shaul has been summoned to court, and Shaul now is going to speak to the brethren, okay? Or these Israelites here in the Hebrew, the Ibri, okay, or Lashon HaKodash. He's about to speak to them in that language. So like I always say, that it's very, very important that we try to understand a little bit of the language, okay? And it'll help us get a better understanding of the scriptures. Okay, but with that, Yashra'al, I say everybody enjoy your Shabbat. And I should see you back again, if it be the Father's will, next week. But as of now, the court is adjourned, all right? And we'll pick it up again with Shaul has been summoned to court. And with that, I say peace Shalom.